Hi everyone, Elle here, creator, host of the Tipsy Tim podcast. And we really do like to have a lot of fun around here, but it is just my moral obligation to throw this little disclaimer in before every episode. I myself am over the age of 21. Every guest I have on the show is over the age of 21. We do not condone underage drinking. Um, and every episode is recorded either in my home or via Zoom to where my guest is in their home. So we're all drinking in our own homes. We're over the age of 21. And we do not go anywhere after we record the show. Every person that has recorded in my home either Ubers home or gets picked up or honestly just spends the night. So this is just, a little serious moment from the show to you guys. Please drink responsibly. Please don't drink and drive. Um, yeah, so enjoy the rest of the episode, but just keep in the back of your mind. Stay safe. Don't be an idiot. Thanks, guys.
Podcasts coming to you. Pour up a drink, or maybe a few. The Tipsy Tim podcast, we've got a lot to say. So come grab a seat, let us get inside your brain.
Hey guys, what's going on? Elle here, creator and host of the Tipsy Tim podcast. Just doing a little intro before this week's episode. So this week's episode, we went through the year and did like 10 different holidays. Talked about like origins and just some funny stories or what we like to do. We, as in me and Emily. So Emily's back again for this episode. So we talked about like origins and some just crazy traditions and history and things like that of different episodes throughout the year. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're listening to our show. I highly encourage you to go back and listen to the first two episodes of the Tipsy Tim podcast and even go listen to the 6 or 7 other episodes of Dink It and Sink It. You can find all of those on our YouTube channel or on all streaming services. Again, Emily is here with us to talk about the holidays, again, in more of just a casual format. We go back and forth with points. The keyword for today's episode is holiday. So I do feel like we drink a lot more than normal, obviously, because there's not really any other way to get around the word holiday. But yeah, I'm so glad you guys tuned in. Here is this week's episode of the Tipsy 10 podcast. All right, so I'm here with Emily today. We're going to be talking about different holidays and their origins. And this is our second take on this because we forgot the keyword, which is like the most important. But the keyword today is going to be holiday. So I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot because there's not like an alternative to holiday.
And I keep forgetting to eat before we record these, so here I am, probably gonna get sloshed.
I have to work at 7 in the morning, so I cannot get sloshed. And if my boss Jennifer finds this, no, I was not drinking within 12 hours of my shift.
No, who said you were
Who
doing
said
that?
that? Tipsy.
I'm an alibi. You were not doing any such thing.
Okay, so naturally this episode is gonna go in like year order. So the first one I'm gonna go ahead and start, and it's about New Year's Day. So the earliest recorded festivities of New Year's Day date back to about 4,000 years ago in ancient Babylon. They celebrated the first new moon after the vernal equinox in March. And so I know what you guys are probably thinking is that it doesn't make sense that they celebrated like New Year's in March because we celebrated it and we celebrate it in January. But so in 46 BC, Julius Caesar created the new Julian calendar, which created July and August. So Julius Caesar was like the month of July, and Caesar Augustus was August. And so, us, like as in our friend group, tend to get blackout drunk and set off fireworks and shit for New Year's. But did you know in Spain that they actually eat, like they binge eat grapes, like they don't take shots, they don't drink wine, like they shove grapes down their throat because it's supposed to symbolize a new hope for like the new year. And so honestly,
grapes equal hope.
I don't know, but they didn't eat enough fucking grapes in 2019.
No, we didn't.
Because look at where we are now. 2020 is fucked. So I don't know.
That tradition over here.
Maria out there in Spain, you didn't eat your fucking grapes. Fuck you.
You brought this on the rest of us.
But in other countries, like in Europe, they eat legumes, which are supposed to symbolize like coins and wealth. But do you know what a legume is? Peanuts. A bitch would die and I would stay poor.
Everybody with a peanut allergy out there would just be like, well, here we go, another bad year.
Yeah, so yeah, New Year's is just like a holiday that oh shit. I feel like but everyone just like assumes that they know the meaning of, because it's just like the typical, like, I don't know, like, one, we all get trashed, but it's like it symbolizes like the end of the year, but no one really knew or knows where it came from or that it was originally celebrated in March.
What really caught my attention here was that July and August are named after Julius Caesar and Caesar Augustus. Like, why has the thought I have never been sitting there and been like, you know what? Why are months named what they're named?
Well,
I've never had that thought.
If you notice, starting in September, so September was supposed to be 7, October is supposed to be 8, November is supposed to be 9, and like it goes from September to December, it would be 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because those made sense. I remember learning that.
And they're 2 off because Caesar Augustus or Julius Caesar or whoever the fuck inserted July and August.
Oh my god.
And so it moved everything to
Julius Caesar fucked everything up just so he could have a special holiday with
and then he got stabbed. R.I.P. But also, did you know, I watched this Vine, so just like throw back to our Vine days, if any of our viewers are old enough. There's like this Vine or whatever, and like if you write the initial out of every month, it's like January, February, March, April, May, June, and then it's Jason Derulo, because it's like Jasond. And I just remember that Vine, like that was like the funniest shit I've ever seen.
People are so creative.
So yeah, that's all I really have to say about New Year's. It's pretty just like quick and to the point.
I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to go around with your friends and family and say, oh, what do you hope to do this year? I don't know. I like it. It's a nice tradition.
I like it, and then you get into like January 6th, and then you're like, well, I guess I'm just gonna say fucking fat this year because I'm over it already.
And why is that always the resolution everybody makes? Like, just start it whenever. When you have the thought, don't go, oh, I'm gonna wait until the new year. No, do it now.
See, I like that
forever hold your peace.
I always am like, okay, I'm gonna start eating healthy on Monday. Monday is gonna be my day. And then I'm always tired as fuck on Monday.
I get it. The hardest part of any habit is starting the habit, but anyway, that is not what we're here for.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, I don't really think this was a happy new year because fuck 2020. I can't wait for 2021.
It was bad right off the bat. Like right off the jump. It was Kobe.
Yeah, I threw up. I threw up
threats of World War III.
Or New Year's Day. Whatever. And that never happens. I never puke that much. I should have known.
I actually puke a lot, and I managed not to puke after that.
So I should have known. Anyways, Happy New Year's. That's it for
On to the next holiday.
Oh, shit.
You actually need to drink twice because I said it earlier, too. So Valentine's Day is up next, and everybody thinks that Valentine's Day is just like a Hallmark holiday, but like there's actually a reason it came to be, like a historical reason. The one that everybody should actually be calling the Hallmark holiday is just Sweetest Day, and we don't fuck with that shit. We don't do Sweetest Day.
I think I get shit on Sweetest Day, not gonna lie.
It's pointless. So, but Valentine's Day, that actually has a few origins. There was a Roman festival called Lupercalia, which was always in mid-February, and it was all about like the coming of spring, and there were fertility rituals and like lotteries to pair off men with women, like, oh yes, take home your girl, and just a bunch of that bullshit. And so obviously with like the fertility and everything, you can see how it became like associated with romance. There was some pope back then, Pope Gelasius, that
Oh
changed the
my.
name.
That's a
So
rough name.
half the names I'm saying this are probably butchered, so don't judge me too badly. But Pope Gelasius, he changed the name to Saint Valentine's Day instead of the festival of Lupercalia. It became Saint Valentine's Day. And over centuries, we've obviously just dropped the saint and we just call it Valentine's Day. But that begs the question, who the fuck was Saint Valentine? So there are a couple different saints. I think they're having like a he said, she said debate over here. There was a Saint Valentine who was in jail and befriended this jailer's daughter, and they would like send each other notes, and Valentine would always sign his notes to the jailer's daughter, from your Valentine. So we can see how now today's tradition is to make physical Valentines and say, oh, will you be my Valentine, everything like that. Like, that makes sense.
It does.
Another
Was that supposed to be romantic?
I don't know. Here's the deal. Like, I don't even know.
I don't want no jailbird mailing me shit.
People in jail really be like sneaking in phones and then
Have you experienced prison TikTok?
No, I don't.
They make like
really
TikToks in prisons. It's so funny.
I'm pretty loyal to Vine, if we're being honest.
I watched this video where like this random person was doing like an Instagram live or whatever, and you know how like you can like have people on and it's like a split screen like we're recording now. And there was like this person that randomly popped up on someone's Instagram live and they were just like in prison.
Yo, I would lose my shit. That is so funny. That is great.
Modern day Valentine. Saint Instagram.
Saint Instagram. Well, so there was another saint named Saint Valentine, and this was in some place called Tournai. He was a bishop in Tournai, and there was some emperor that this Saint Valentine was like, fuck you and your rules. I'm gonna marry these couples in secret to save the husbands from having to go to war. So there, that saint was secretly marrying couples. So again, it kind of brings a romance aspect into it. And then the symbols come in, where the festival, the Lupercalia, that was a Roman festival, and Cupid is the Roman god of love.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And then like birds, like you know how birds always like fucking flapping their wings around Cupid. Well, February also marks the beginning of avian mating season.
Birds be fucking in February.
I guess and that makes us romantic as hell. They're like, oh, you see them birds
flying fucking in February.
You see them birds? Let me go get you some dinner and chocolates and flowers. How about that? Like,
oh, those birds fucking. You trying to do that too?
I'm a bird, you know what I'm saying? Like,
tweet,
motherfucker. But so somehow we turned it into, besides like romance and fertility celebrations and pairing off men with women in lotteries, we're like, oh yeah, let me get some flowers and chocolates and go to dinner. But you know, I respect Valentine's Day as a holiday, unlike Sweetest Day. Sweetest Day really does just exist to make money and then make significant others feel like shit for not getting their significant other shit.
I feel like if you're really understanding, like, if you're like a serious couple, you're gonna understand that Sweetest Day is a crock of shit.
And also, just like, oh, you know, everybody always says like, oh, well, you should be celebrating your significant significant other every day of the year. Yeah, but sometimes it's nice to like set a day aside besides your anniversaries or birthday. I don't know, it's just nice. Nothing's wrong with it, you know?
No, I feel that.
But also not celebrating Valentine's Day is fine too, you guys. You know, people trying to save money, whatever. It's fine.
Fucking is free.
Well,
Well, actually, I mean the act of doing so
depends on
probably
who you are. I don't know. Condoms and birth control cost money, and if you
But
don't use those, then babies
children
cost
do
money.
cost
So
money. Okay, I take that
so
back.
it's all subjective, really.
Stay abstinent, please. We don't need enough. We already have enough people in this
The
world.
world's pretty overpopulated.
Exactly. So yeah, Valentine's Day, pretty exciting. So there's actually like a lot of meaning behind the love aspect
The love.
other than just being in love. Okay, so we're gonna move on to number 3. So we had January, February, now we're in March. St. Patrick's Day, which happens every year on March 17th, which is also our good friend Austin Starr's birthday.
Shout out to Lil Star.
Happy birthday, Audie. Even though Corona just fucked us all over.
Oh yeah, it was his 21st birthday party. We didn't get to go take him out to bars this year.
Yeah, so St. Patrick's Day is another holiday where Emily and all our friends tend to get blackout wasted in honor of something we know nothing about. So St. Patrick's Day is a day meant to honor the life and death of a patron saint of Ireland, St. Patrick. That's fairly self-explanatory, Ireland, shit like that. So apparently this had a lot to do with like the pilgrimage of Catholics and shit. Of like how say Ireland was the person that brought like Catholicism to Europe or some shit like that. Which is fine. If you're interested in theology and stuff, that's fine. I'm happy for you. But I thought I would talk more about like the exciting things that happened during St. Patrick's Day. So one, just a fun fact for Emily, because I don't know if so Emily just recently moved to Chicago like what, 2 months ago about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like 2.5 months maybe.
So apparently there's like a river or a lake or something in Chicago.
It's Lake Michigan. It's one of the Great Lakes.
And they like dye it green with vegetable dye.
And it takes forever to wash out.
Oh no, that's not true. Because they used to use like 900 pounds of vegetable dye, and it would take forever to wash out. But now they only use like 45 because vegetable dye is like harmful to the environment. And now
everything.
And it only lasts like a few hours now.
See, I wasn't here for that, but I'm hoping that COVID shit is over next year so I can celebrate it.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting that they just do like a whole lake. And apparently they did that, like originally it started like the plumbing company. Like I don't know, like in Dayton we have like the Dayton City Water, whatever. And so like the sewage company would pour green vegetable dye into the lake to see where sewage or like chemicals that weren't supposed to be in the lake like showed up differently. And so that's why they started doing it. And then like one day they just like did it on St. Patrick's Day, not even knowing, like they were just trying to clean the lake out or whatever.
Oh,
and then
what a coincidence.
Everyone thought it was a celebration, so then they just kept doing it.
No, that was totally marketing. That was a marketing ploy.
This was like in the 40s, so I mean maybe. But also, so just recently, like I would say like within the past like 15 years, St. Patty's is celebrated like in Japan and shit.
I mean, we celebrate it here in America even though it was an Irish holiday. So, like,
well, that's because America just steals holidays and tries to pass them off as their own. America is the ultimate copycat because we have no culture of our own.
Any excuse to drink. We
that
just
is
take
fair.
Everybody else's cultures. That's what Americans do.
Yeah, we just steal other people's cultures and try to pass them off as our own.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the reasons they're celebrating St. Patrick is because Ireland apparently had a ridiculous snake problem, and St. Patrick ridded the town of the snakes. Like he managed to like take the snakes away, and that's why they celebrate him.
I personally did not read anything about that. I did read how St. Patrick helped Ireland recover from the Great Potato Famine.
Wow, is there anything St. Patrick doesn't do? Snakes, potatoes, you name it.
Oh, and there were like Irish slaves that he helped freed. Well, he was a
Yo,
slave himself.
honestly, that is something that a lot of people in history don't talk about. Like Irishmen have been through some shit. They also were slaves for years and years and years, but
And
let's
apparently, like, leprechauns were like depictions of slaves. And so, like, leprechauns are low key offensive
Are
in
you
Ireland.
serious?
I guess. Unless I read that wrong, that's just what I kind of got from what they were trying to say. And now, like, and now it's kind of like how leprechauns like run around and like they're like fairies, Irish fairies.
And they also protect their lucky charms from kids.
I could I could see that as well.
You know, I think there might be like a really popular cereal about that or something. Something Americanized, I don't know.
Something that doesn't sponsor us. That's what I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the good St. Patty's holiday. It's not just green beer and four-leaf clovers. It's to celebrate St. Patrick, who, potatoes,
See,
snakes,
I'm Irish.
Catholic pilgrimages, and great. We love you, St. Patrick. I'll drink to that.
I'm sorry for those of you if like you can hear me drinking this. I have a margarita the size of my head and it's very heavy. So, coming up is Juneteenth. We kind of, we hit January, February, March, but then there's nothing really exciting in April and May. I mean, besides Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Memorial Day, but
And Jordan's birthday is in January.
well, but we already touched January, so that's
Well, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is in January. It's on
what
Jordan's
am
birthday.
what the fuck am I thinking about? Oh, you're so right. Memorial.
Memorial Day, President's Day.
You guys, please disregard what I just said. How
May.
embarrassing.
Mother's Day is in May.
Mother's Day and Memorial Day, because sometimes Memorial Day is on my birthday.
Oh, that's true.
But
That's
moving
true.
on to Juneteenth. Yo, so I'm a piece of shit because honestly, I didn't even know what Juneteenth was until this year. Like I had heard about it for years and years, but I didn't learn what it was until this year. So honestly, thank God for the Black Lives Matter movement because it's truly bringing awareness. I think more people knew about it this year than ever, and I saw it being more widely celebrated than ever. So yeah, I heard about Juneteenth being a holiday and had to dig into that like all the other uneducated people out there. And learning about it just made me so angry. So, like the Civil War ended and the Emancipation Proclamation came away in 1862, declaring that the slaves were now free. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Except news of the slaves now being free didn't even manage to spread through the whole US. Like apparently that's not important information or some shit. So slaves in Texas weren't freed until 3 years later. I mean, imagine learning that shit. Imagine the news finally reaching you that, oh yeah, there was this thing called the Emancipation Proclamation. Like, oh yeah, we won the Civil War. You guys have been slaves 3 years longer than you should have, on top of all the other hundreds of years that you shouldn't have been. Like, I'd be so upset. I mean, obviously, elated as well because hell yeah,
Like,
we're free.
it's like a bittersweet moment where you're like, fuck yeah, but you're just like, fuck.
Also, fuck yeah. I know. I would sue. I would sue my slave owners. Like, you kept me enslaved 3 years longer than you were allowed to. Although, obviously, just because they were no longer slaves did not mean that they had all the rights right then and there that they should have. So, and obviously things are still going on this year where people are still not being treated the way that they should have. So I really hope that Juneteenth is more widely known about now these days, and that we keep celebrating it as widely as we did this year in years moving forward, because it just really is important. I'm sick of all the bullshit. Let there be equality, let there be love, all that.
I'll drink to that. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, when we were kind of writing like the outline and stuff that we wanted to talk in this about in this episode, I just thought it was really important to like hit on this and just treat it like every other holiday that we get hyped for. There's no reason
it deserves as much recognition.
Exactly. There's no reason why we can't get hyped about Juneteenth.
The fact that I didn't know about it and I'm 22 years old, like that's a problem. Like why did I had like I'm really close to a lot of Black people, and one of my best friends, she was like, yo, I didn't even know what Juneteenth was until this year. Like, that's one thing. We're not being taught enough African American history. We're not, like, it's obviously a problem. And
definitely. And I'm gonna like hit on this later when I talk about Thanksgiving, but history is so fucking whitewashed. Like, you don't hear that the slaves didn't like hear about being freed until 3 years later. Like, no one even really knows that.
Like, how many fucking years do we have to rotate between American history and world history, back to American history, back to world history in school to never even hear this? Why aren't we taught this?
Exactly. And it's just like I feel like in school you're kind of taught that, and you know, I'll hit on this later again with Thanksgiving, that like one day Abraham Lincoln said the slaves are going to be freed and everyone just peacefully let them go. And that is not how that happened, obviously. So yeah, just with everything going on, and you know, even if none of this did happen with, you know, George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, taking such dominance over the news lately, like Juneteenth is something we still need to be aware of. We still need to celebrate it like every other holiday.
It needs to be as big of a holiday as freaking 4th of July, because we're not free until we're all free.
Hell fucking yeah. And on that note, we're gonna go to the next one, Independence Day. So that's July 4th, obviously the second, like, actually my birthday is July 5th, and I feel like I get gypped every year. So I just say that those fireworks are for me, but that's besides the point.
Look how the sky, look how it shines for you.
So obviously, again, there isn't really much to explain with this one, since the majority of the people that listen to the show are probably from America. But I guess we could hit on it. So in 1776, after we won the what war? I can't think of it. Revolutionary War.
Okay.
1776. July 4th is the day that America was declared a free country from England. So if you guys don't know the rest, please go back to 6th grade social studies, because apparently
you don't know here shit. Because we don't know it either.
We don't know it either.
What the fuck war was it? The American Revolution? I don't know.
American Revolution. But apparently, like old colonisty, white, old, gross men wanted to celebrate this on July 2nd because both John Adams and Thomas Jefferson died on July 4th. Not like the same July 4th, but they both died like on July 4th the day. So yeah, they just wanted to like change it because all their pals just died. And I don't, you know, my grandma almost died on Thanksgiving and we didn't try to change that. So
yeah, I have a friend whose mom died on Halloween and she hates it every year. I'm just like, oh, damn. Imagine,
yeah, but she's not trying to change Halloween
the day after July 4th. Imagine a whole holiday being ruined because your mom died.
That's true. But it's like, we're not trying to change it, so I don't know why these old white men feel entitled, but I guess that's what America is. But anyways, what would the 4th of July be without your crackhead firework neighbor? It would be nothing. It would be nothing. As much as I complain, it's almost part of the beginning of July is the crackhead neighbor that's setting off firecrackers in the street. But
Shout
the
out
first
to all the dogs that have no idea what the fuck is going on and just have to hold their piss and shit for hours and hours every day for a week because they're scared.
That's fair. But the
Crackhead neighbor.
the first fireworks were set off around 200 BC. So fireworks are not only used to piss off your neighbors, but were originally used to signify obviously bombs used in the or like gunfire used in like the American Revolution, and they would do like a 13 like set off salute or whatever firecracker salute to signify the 13 colonies, which makes
Oh,
sense.
that's kind of nice.
Um,
Why am I like amazed that they had the technology to produce fireworks?
well, they
that
weren't
long
like pretty
ago?
fireworks; they were more like firecrackers, where it was just like a pop, like that's it.
Okay. I guess I shouldn't be too amazed though, because I mean, like gunpowder and stuff was there, so I'm sure they could figure out how to do a little explosion in the sky.
Exactly. And also, lastly, I feel like this was like a little shocking to me because I feel like it's always gone without saying that everyone is just off work on July 4th. You know, besides like the police officers and stuff like that.
You know, the essential workers.
But like typical like 9 to 5 jobs. The 4th of July was not considered a federal holiday until 1941. So that doesn't make sense
That
to
was
me
literally
because
like 80 years ago.
it's
That's
literally like it's
crazy.
literally the federal holiday. Like it is the federal holiday.
It's the fucking birthday of America. What?
And it was like not considered a federal holiday until 1941. A shame, really.
Again, it was even that still happened before segregation was abolished. So
True, that happened in what 1968.
it was literally in like the 60s. Yeah.
I think it was the same year my dad was born. I think it was 68. But yeah, so 4th of July.
Amazing how things just weren't that long ago.
Amazing how white old men think they're still entitled to federal holidays. But that's besides the point. We're going to move on to number 6. Oh, whoops. I'm getting towards
Halloween.
the bottom of the
this
cup.
This is Halloween. 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 Dun, 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 dun. This, in case you couldn't tell, the next one is All Hallows Eve. This is one of Beth and I's favorite holidays. We love Halloween.
Oh, holiday again. Oh, whew.
So I think most people know the history of Halloween. It was an ancient Celtic festival of, oh gosh, it's spelled way differently than it's pronounced. It's pronounced like Samhain. It's the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, where people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. So everybody's pretty much heard of that, I feel like. It goes a little deeper than that. Like, why were they needing to ward off ghosts? Well, let me tell you. The Celtic New Year was celebrated on November 1st because it marked the end of summer and harvest and began the dark, cold winter, which was usually associated with human death. So
Great.
You know, back then they didn't have the heat in the
Damn.
house.
I guess
So-
if you're chilly, you just die.
When it was better to be a thick bitch back then, but also it was kind of hard to get a lot of food, so skinny bitches would just be out here dying.
Basically,
Babies,
everyone
the
just
elderly,
died.
in the cold, so it was associated with human death. So the Celts thought that on the night before their New Year, the boundary between the living and the dead worlds became blurred, and ghosts would return to the earth. Also, these otherworldly spirits that the Celts thought were coming, they thought that these spirits would help the Druids, which were like Celtic priests, see the future. They thought that the Druids could see the future, and so they'd have huge bonfires to burn crops and animals as sacrifices. So the Celtic deities.
Deities.
Yeah. What did I say?
Deities.
They would burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities.
Deities.
Why can't I say this? God. Anyway, but they'd wear costumes made of like animal heads and skins and go around telling each other's fortunes. And this was in like Ireland and whatnot when that happened. And so it wasn't until it came to America that's when we started telling ghost stories and using it as a night of mischief. Because again, we had to Americanize it, of course.
Of course.
Of course. What else do we know how to do? So Beth and I love this. We take turns throwing Halloween parties at our houses. We do like fun costume contests and make fun. I don't know. It's just a great time. And really, fuck the parents that think it's satanic and don't let their kids participate and go trick-or-treating and get candy or go to Halloween parties with their friends. Like, imagine you're in the 4th grade and your friends are all passing out invites, come to my Halloween party, and everybody in your class is going except you because your parents are like, oh no, it's satanic.
My grandma literally think it's satanic, and like on Halloween, and it's funny because I never get invited. She has a hallelujah party. And basically they do everything that they would like. They bob for apples and they get candy and they dress up and stuff like that, but they like cannot call it Halloween because my grandma thinks it's like of the devil, so it's called a hallelujah party.
That's low-key genius.
This is also the same grandma.
Hallelujah.
This is just she's never gonna listen to this because she's old, but my cousins might. I didn't know like deviled eggs were called like deviled eggs until like a few years ago because my grandma's so religious. She made us call them angel eggs.
Okay, if the thing itself is what you think is bad, like the holiday of Halloween or the food deviled eggs,
or like devil's food cake, we weren't allowed to call it that.
Changing the name doesn't change the thing itself, you know? So like, you like the thing, just admit it. The parents that like would say that and grandparents would say that Halloween is satanic are the same parents that like wouldn't let their kids watch Harry Potter and shit because it's satanic too.
Witchcraft. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter or like Pokemon or... Can
we chill? Can we let kids like have an imagination and see creative worlds and shit? Like, what is it gonna do? Why are you making your kid be an outcast and not go to things and know what's going on?
I understand, like, if you don't want your child to participate in like satanic rituals, because I fully believe that those things are real and stuff like that.
You will never catch me with a Ouija board.
But no, like, I understand that, but just like let them go get some fucking candy or dress up with like a Powerpuff Girl.
They don't have to be like a witch or the devil or the Grim Reaper. Like, people are cats. People dress up as angels. I dressed up as an angel one year for Halloween. Like, come on.
Nat was an angel for Halloween like almost every year.
Well, I wonder why.
Yeah, so just let your kids have fun. Don't ruin it for them. It's a harmless holiday. Unless you make it dangerous. I understand that.
Oh, like the people that are putting like razor blades and candy and shit.
Which is funny because on the very first episode I ever recorded of a podcast, we talked about that. And there's like no recorded cases of that happening. Or anyone dying from it.
Talk about dying.
There's no recorded cases of anyone dying from that.
I don't know.
My favorite are like the memes. The memes where it's like a Snickers like pulled apart and there's like a Glock in the middle. It's
like, my god!
Check your kids' candy. I found like
those are the
Glock 9 in my kids' Snickers.
People pull out like a fucking machete, have it like sticking out of a pack of Twizzlers. Like,
those are
people are so funny. People are so funny. But I'm biased. I grew up in a Christian household. I still got to celebrate all the holidays, and holidays were the best parts of my childhood. Like getting to look forward to something every month, getting to plan your Halloween costume. I go all out. Like I like
Same.
to hand make my Halloween
I
costume.
I wear like Halloween costumes every day of October because I like work with kids and it's just a good time.
Oh, you make such cute ones with the kid. Oh yeah.
Milo Crafts, love those kids. So yeah, we're gonna move on, because I'm ready to fuck shit up with this next one. So
Okay.
anyways,
Let's dive in.
number 7 is Thanksgiving. So I just want everyone, close your eyes, Emily, you included. Close your eyes. Think back to elementary school where you're learning about the first Thanksgiving. And there's like cute pilgrims and Native Americans and feathers and cornucopias and vegetables and such. And yeah, so do you have that image in your mind?
I do. I really
Well,
do.
fuck right off. Because that's very wrong. And fuck you, Christopher Columbus. The origins are very dark and demented and just show you how toxic colonialism actually was. Native Americans were killed and raped and forced to do, hard labor, and their land was taken. People were turned into slaves and forced to share their culture. So instead of going into depth about this holiday, we need to talk about how whitewashed history is and how we were taught as children. Granted, I understand we don't need to talk to our children about how white colonizers murdered Native Americans. We don't need to talk to them about that.
Rampant spread of STDs that was killing them. And
Yeah, and everything. I mean, diseases all around. I mean, not even just STDs, but just because foreign bodies were being carried across the oceans.
Foreign bodies were definitely being I'm sorry.
That's fucked up, but not wrong. And we don't need to tell them it was peaceful either. You can lightly put it that people did not come to America peacefully and they were not nice about it. But definitely in high school, people are old enough to learn about how, like, what really happened.
Yeah, like we definitely don't have to glorify it or anything. You know what? Disney puts it best with the movie Pocahontas. That actually, like, the villain is the white colonizer coming.
Exactly.
Like, hell yeah, okay.
And it's just, history is so whitewashed, and I feel like a lot of people don't even understand that. Because, I hate the phrase how, like, history's written from, like, the winner's point of view. And it's just like, what have you won? A country
Just
built
think
on
about all the
indigenous
stuff that we're
people
reading.
and racism and stolen land and stolen people you forced to work to build this country up that you're now going to claim as your own.
Yeah, they won because they didn't have to do it themselves. And it's like in chess, if you steal somebody's piece, you're the winner. Except this was a lot more important and big than chess. But you know what I'm saying.
I understand. It's just, don't teach your children that Christopher Columbus was a good person.
Just thinking
Stop
about
teaching your children that. Stop teaching everyone that.
all the history that we have been taught our whole lives, that things that we should have learned that we haven't, and the things that we are learning, like, we don't even know if it's accurate. We will never actually know. Like, we're all going around spitting all this information, but it's like you said, it's told from the winner's point of view, and there are two sides to every story, and it's not a great feeling when you think about it, not really knowing what went down.
I don't necessarily know if it's, like, inaccurate. I just think it's pulled grossly out of context to show how white people have come out on top.
Yeah, but I mean, history in general, just like,
no one's ever gonna know other than the people that were there. And guess what? Those bitches are dead.
and wars back in the day, just thinking about, like, they were kids. These men were boys shooting other boys that had no choice but to be there. They're like, oh, they're the enemy. No, they're just like you and me. They got drafted. They got pulled from their families. They're being told to do this or else they're going to get killed. They're risking it. Like, I don't know. It's all just so fucked up.
I agree. And it's just, okay, stepping aside from the fact that Thanksgiving is a racist and holiday, is a fucked up holiday that has been extremely whitewashed. it's also become so saturated with consumerism and has working class people taken away from their families. You don't see rich people working on Thanksgiving or rich people working on Black Friday. No, it's that 17-year-old high school student that's working on holiday break at Kohl's that you're sitting here yelling at, Karen.
But gosh,
She never got to she didn't get to spend Thanksgiving with her family because here she is at the checkout counter at Kohl's.
but the fall decorations are lovely. The cornucopias.
Buy them before Thanksgiving.
Now Beth and I do something cool. We host Friendsgivings with our group of friends, which I honestly care about more than the Thanksgiving dinner with my actual family, just because, well, not to get into it, but my sister and I are kind of estranged. But Friendsgiving, much better to celebrate than
I
Thanksgiving.
don't feel any type of guilt because I feel like not everyone, majority of the people in our friend group like recognize that America is extremely racist and took land from people who it belonged to unrightfully. And we understand that, and like it's not even, we're not celebrating the meaning of Thanksgiving. Whereas we're celebrating each other at a time where we need to, unlearn the racist ways of America.
That's the thing, is the history of Thanksgiving fucked up? Yes. But is it how it's celebrated today really enjoyable? It is. The good food, having your friends and family together, taking that time to think about what you're thankful for and to eat good. I don't know. I am proud of our friend group, though. I think our friend group does a pretty good job at staying grounded and being decent people.
I agree. So yeah, fuck you, Christopher Columbus. I hope you're rotting in hell. Stop being ignorant. Teach your children what the right thing to do is, and teach them what actually happened.
Did his statue get torn down? Yes or no?
Yes. They took it down at Ohio State.
Didn't they decapitate him or something?
I'm not sure. I think that happened somewhere, but I don't think that was in Ohio.
So many.
Do I think they should rename the city of Columbus? No.
Oh, but to what? Flavortown or
Flavortown. Shout out Guy Fieri. If you ever hear this, please sponsor us. We love Guy's Grocery Games. We love Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. We love food.
We love food.
We love you, Guy Fieri. But anyways, fuck you, Christopher Columbus. That's all I gotta say. Next
holiday is Kwanzaa.
Ooh.
Kwanzaa is a celebration held from December 26th to January 1st. It started in 1966 and celebrates African and African American culture. And I remember learning about this when I was young in school. I love learning about all the different holidays and all the different cultures, so it's really nice. The way it's celebrated is by gift giving and lots of good food. I was reading up about all the traditional dishes and oh my word. So I'm about to pronounce a lot of words, you guys. If I fuck it up, I'm apologizing in advance.
Just a heads up, I learned all about this in my African American psychology class, and we learned about the Ujima and Ujama and things like that. So I do know some of that.
I'm so proud of Beth. Her African American psychology teacher actually had Beth on a podcast, a live stream to talk in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah, we just talked about the Black Lives Matter movement and how I viewed that from a Caucasian kind of standpoint. So if you're go follow us on Instagram, first of all, at the Tipsy Tim Podcast, but also go follow on Instagram the Comeback Podcast. So yeah, that's where I recorded that. It was actually a live stream, so there's no recording of it, but go follow them because they do actually do regular podcasts too. More of that at the end of the show.
But so moving on to all the words I'm gonna fuck up. So how the 7-day celebration goes is you lay out a mat called a mekala. Do you know how to say that one?
No, haven't heard that one.
Mekeka. And lay out objects on it, including a kanara, which is a candle holder for 7 candlesticks. Mazao, which are crops. Mahindi, which is corn. A unity cup called a kikombe.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry, a Kikombe cha umoja,
Mhm.
which is used for commemorating and giving shukrani, which is Somali for thanks, shukrani, and giving thanks to African ancestors, and sawadi, which are gifts. So all of these are laid out on the mat, the makeka. Each of the candles on the kinara have meanings. There are 3 main colors of Kwanzaa, and they are red, black, and green. There are 3 red candles, 3 green, and 1 black, and it's in the middle. The candles stand, they each have their own individual meaning. So there's Umoja, which is
Umoja.
unity. Kuchagulia, which is self-determination. Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility, meaning to uplift your community. Ujama, which is cooperative economics, which those two play really closely together. Nia, which is purpose. Kumba, which is creativity. And the last one is Imani, which is faith. And 1 candle is lit each day of the festival. Each day has a specific focus on each meanings of the candle, and there are activities held throughout the day for to focus on each of those. So I love that. I
I
think that's important.
just to kind of add, just from my personal knowledge, so each day has a different principle, is what they're called.
Yeah, sorry.
But
Yeah, the candles are principles, the 7 main principles.
and so like the 7 principles tie back to this idea called Sankofa. I believe it's called Sankofa, and basically it means you should always remember what is at risk of being left behind. And so a big deal in African culture and Afrocentric culture is that you need to pull the past and like tell it forward. So that's why like oral presentation or oral communication is like a big deal in African culture, because you need to tell the tales of your ancestors forward, and it needs to travel on. I believe that's called Sankofa, but I do know it means like you have to remember what is at risk of being left behind. So
And
that's
that's the
basically,
thing.
they celebrate Kwanzaa like for 1 week, or for 7 days, but it's basically celebrating everything that they have accomplished in 1 year.
And encouraging them to continue going on in the future. Like the self-determination candle, the Kuchagulia, that is the self-determination, and that's just take in all that you've done, think of how you can be better. It's speak out, don't hold, like use your voice, go do things. And there was a few, like the Kumba, the creativity, that candle was just like that principle. Be heard, show your worth, show what you know, show what you forgot. And it's just like, what an encouraging holiday to not only like recognize what you've been through, but just to keep encouraging you and your community to keep moving forward.
And I think even with Kwanzaa or Juneteenth, like it's very important that we're recognizing these holidays. And even with like the holidays that happen around Christmas, I know my nose is so stuffy for some reason. I'm so sorry. But there's like this like thing where people are offended when people don't say Merry Christmas. And like that shit needs to stop.
What is up with that? It is not all about you. You're not the only person in the world. It's not the only holiday that's happening.
And this is something I say where, I'm not a religious person, but when someone is, I'll pray for you, I feel like that is the highest sentiment that they can give to you, because
they're trying to be nice.
And so when someone says Merry Christmas or Joyous Kwanzaa or Happy Hanukkah, like it doesn't matter if you celebrate that or not. It doesn't matter if you don't celebrate any of those. I feel like you should still be grateful because they're thinking of you in this time enough to greet you with something that's important to them and important to their culture.
Yeah, they don't have to talk to you. They can keep their eyes down, not look at you. Like, they're just being decent. They're communicating with their neighbors. Like,
So if you're
be a better
offended
person.
because someone says happy Hanukkah or happy holidays or whatever the fuck you. You don't even deserve to have Christmas.
Also, not even everyone celebrates holidays. Like, whether it's the fight between Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah, people don't celebrate holidays at all. But how about if someone tells you Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, they're still just meaning it nicely. Just say thank you, you too. Not
Exactly. All
everybody
you
can
have
know
to do
what
is
each
say thank
person
you.
celebrates.
It's not written on your fucking forehead. I celebrate Christmas. Like,
I don't celebrate. You know,
yeah, just be fucking nice.
be a decent human being.
And, you know, that kind of goes on. So I'm going to go to my next one, which is
Just wish
Hanukkah,
wellness unto others.
which kind of goes on to, you know, the same holiday. So Hanukkah, for anyone who doesn't know, Hanukkah is like the Jewish version of Christmas. My cup is empty. I guess I need to go refill that. I'll be back.
I gotta pee.
Okay, so I'm going to start over with Hanukkah. So for anyone who doesn't know, Hanukkah is like the Jewish version of Christmas. And it's like I think I said holiday. I can't even remember. And so this is like the holiday.
Oh boy.
I have heartburn. That is important to.
That's why you should have taken an antacid before we started. But no, nobody ever wants to listen to me and take antacids.
I think I lost mine. I think I left mine at that Airbnb.
I left mine at the lake when we went earlier. I'm very sad. They were limited edition blueberry lemonade.
Oh, those were nasty. But anyways,
Wow.
so this is the concept that kind of gives, like, I don't know, concreteness. There's a moth in here. Concreteness or whatever to their religion. So basically, this bitch is big.
Yo, all I can think about are those moth memes where it's like, look, like, where did those come from and where did they go?
He is sitting on the lamp.
They like the light.
Okay, so basically Hanukkah it keeps flying near me. Okay, so I'm gonna start over with Hanukkah.
Again for the third time.
For the third time, the moth has exited. Okay, so for my last one, is Hanukkah, and for anyone who doesn't know, Hanukkah is like the Jewish version of Christmas, and it's like the holiday that solidifies the idea of Judaism. So basically, it started when the Jews had to rebel against the Syrian oppressors, and they had to rededicate the temple. But they had to do it in the dark because it was illegal to be Jewish at the time and they were being prosecuted. They feared that they would not have enough oil in the lamp in order to read the Torah for the rededication of the temple. But by a miracle, the lamp had enough oil to stay lit for 8 days. And that's why Hanukkah lasts for 8 days. I feel like I've heard that story, but I couldn't remember that I heard it until today.
I have heard that. That's why they have the candelabra, but I forget what they call it.
Menorah.
Menorah.
It's called a menorah.
With the 8 candles.
And it's like the U shape, and yeah. So they have that, and they light one each day of Hanukkah. So yeah, typical traditions include the menorah, and so it's actually typical that kids will get 8 smaller gifts on each day of Hanukkah rather than like one large day of opening presents. And I'm sure it's become more like modernized where like Christmas normally like they say you get gifts because of the wise man gifts or whatever. So typically you would only get like 3. But obviously like it's been modernized to where kids get like loads and loads of presents. And I'm sure that's the same with Hanukkah where younger kids are getting like a lot of presents from like parents and grandparents and things like that.
And it used to be like really, really small gifts. Like, you know, everybody has the classic dreidel, because there are dreidel games. It's an actual game. But like other little just small gifts. Well, meanwhile today they're probably getting bigger gifts and like electronics and things like that.
Right. And also like obviously oil is very important because it like kept the lamp lit for so long. And so a lot of the foods on this holiday are fried in oil. So they have like potato cakes and like different kinds of like pastries and things like that that are cooked in oil. Oh, that motherfucking moth is back. Um,
Tipsy Tim Podcast, Return of the Moth.
but yeah, so that is like, sorry, I can hear Mika whining. That's basically,
That is Beth's dog, for those who don't know.
oh yeah, that's my dog.
It's not like a kid whining and she's ignoring it. It's a dog.
But yeah, so that's basically all Hanukkah is. And honestly, Hanukkah is not even like the biggest holiday of Judaism. I'm pretty sure because I took a class on Judaism as well. I love learning about different religions and such. But is Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur, I believe is what it's called, and it's basically like a rededication to Christ. In that, where you have like atonement, basically it's like the Catholic equivalent to like confession, but it only happens once a year, and things like that. So Hanukkah is very interesting, honestly. Like the whole like Judaism as a whole, I think is very interesting. But yeah, that's Hanukkah, and
Because the
now
fact that it's so aligned with Christianity up until a certain point, like one of the biggest
I mean, so is
differences
like the three big religions of like Islam, Judaism, and Christianity are like fairly similar. It just like they're all this way, and it finally gets to like a certain point where they all branch off, and then you have like denominations and things like that.
Yeah, so
It's
all this
wild.
stuff is very interesting, and I feel like it should be taught more widely.
Again, because Christmas is so I'm not going to talk on Christmas because that's about you, but like it's just so whitewashed and it's so Americanized to where Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and other types of religious holidays around like the Christmas season are so overlooked.
Absolutely, but that's why it should be taught more, just because people should understand and have a respect for other people, what other people are doing besides yourself.
Exactly. And then just to reiterate, if someone says happy Hanukkah, just say thank you. I don't understand what the big deal about that is.
It's not a big deal. People are just selfish assholes.
Heard
so
that.
Moving on, the last holiday, as we've probably mentioned, the most widely known one.
I poured this one a little too strong because I only filled it up half the cup, but I put like the same amount of alcohol in it.
Yeah, this margarita is just so big, and I'm like getting to the bottom where the tequila's kind of sat a little bit, getting the heartburn for real. But so the last one on the list is Christmas. Now, everybody knows, like, oh, why do we celebrate Christmas? Oh, we're celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Why do we give gifts? Oh, because the wise men came and brought frankincense, myrrh, and
Gold
to baby Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not just exactly straightforward like that. So Jesus was not a baby when the wise men finally made their way to him. He was like 2 years old. These old ass dudes are like traveling on camels across the
Camels can't be that fucking fast.
They're just walking. If you were sitting on that hump and they were running, you'd fly off.
Also, I'm sure they had no GPS. They didn't know where the fuck they were going.
They were just like following
North Star, my ass. How do you follow a star?
Don't it be moving during the night? Like the Earth is rotating. That's the point of the North Star, though. It's always supposed to be pointing north. But I mean, who was keeping track of that?
Who knew that back then? Who knew that?
But anyway, so even that story, like, Christians who celebrate Christmas, they're like, oh yeah, it's the birth of Jesus. Like, they don't even realize that
Jesus was born in the summer.
It's literally like 2 years later and stuff. But it makes I never really understood. Again, I grew up in a Christian household. Just because Jesus got gifts, like if we were celebrating Jesus's birthday, why are we getting gifts now? Like we already had our birthdays. Like what are we doing?
That's like getting gifts for like if it's my birthday and Emily's getting presents.
like the younger sibling that can't, like, everything has to be his. He can't be left out. Like, we're being whiny little bitches about Jesus's birthday. He already had to wait 2 years to get presents.
Right.
let him have this day. No, but I love Christmas. Again, how Beth and I do a Friendsgiving, we also do Friendsmas, and it's lovely. Our friend Bradley is Father Christmas himself. We all just have a good time. We do Christmas pajama parties, Christmas sweater parties. We decorate ornaments. Again, love our friend group. Nothing but respect from my friend group. I hope all of you out there can get one like ours.
But again, like, I feel like Christmas is so commercialized now, where it's all about, like, you know, the Toys R Us ads and sorry, buying like the biggest and most expensive present, or like
The kids being selfish little bitches when they don't get as many as they wanted, or as many big things as they wanted.
or when they get clothes or something like that, like socks.
Like, excuse me, I only have so much money and you have things that you need. I'm just trying to provide for you. Damn.
I just feel like we need to step back, and, you know, this is coming from a not religious person, to where we need to step back and, you know, observe the true meaning of Christmas, whether that true meaning to you is the birth of Jesus Christ, whether that true meaning to you is, you know, being thankful for your family or spending time with family you don't get to see often, or things like that. I mean, it
cousins
shouldn't
come to town every year, and I love
it shouldn't be about the presents. Even if you're not religious and you don't view that as a dedication of the birth of Christ, like, you still need to find your true meaning, and consumerism is not it. Capitalism
Like
is
I
not
said,
it.
I grew up Christian, but I haven't been Christian for 6 years, and I have had people say to me, like, well, why do you celebrate Christmas? As if, come on, it is not just Christians that celebrate Christmas. And while gifts aren't the sole meaning of Christmas, shall I say receiving them isn't, I love giving gifts.
Oh, I love giving gifts, and I'm so bad at keeping them a secret until Christmas. So bad.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas, and it's freaking 6 months away.
I'm so bad at it. Yeah, I love giving presents, because I feel like I'm really good at like things that people will say, like, you know how, like, you say something and then, like, you all of a sudden have Facebook ads for it. Like, I'm literally like that. Like, you say something and then, like, I'm getting it for you for Christmas.
You're the Facebook ad.
I'm the Facebook ad. I'm the FBI
like
agent.
Sometimes I'll write it down. Like, I'll have like notes in my phone. Like, this is, and I'll like monitor. I'm like, has anybody gotten this for them yet? No. Let me text their family members and friends and significant others and claim it.
I would just like to say, if we get big before Christmas and for some reason some viewer wants to get me a Christmas present, this is exactly what I want. Please write this down. You know those Jesus candles, like the prayer candles? I want one of those with a photo of Brendan Urie's face photoshopped on top of Jesus. For those who know me personally, that man is more important to me than any man in this entire world. Yes, Jordan, even you.
You know how she's not Christian? Brendan Urie is her God, though.
Brendan Urie is my God. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And, you know, I doubt that's ever going to happen, but if, you know, some viewer, send it anonymously. Maybe I should get a P.O. box. Send it to me, please.
God.
That's all.
Oh my God. But no, I do, like Beth said, find your meaning. Like, you don't have to be Christian to celebrate Christmas. Don't let people make you feel guilty about it. Like, oh, it's about the birth of Jesus. Like, no, it can be your own thing. I love getting my family together. My cousins come in from out of town. We have a great time. I celebrate with my friends. It's one way that I just like show appreciation. Like, again, you don't have to get your friends presents like for them to know that you love them, but that's just something I like to do.
Exactly. So I mean, I feel like basically the whole meaning, like, it was interesting to understand like how these holidays came about and the origins of such. But I really do feel, oh shit.
That was Beth forgetting to drink.
I do feel like a lot of these holidays are there for people to are there for people to make their own. So, you know, if you want to celebrate Valentine's differently than what's typical, do that. If you want to celebrate Independence Day differently than what other people, and a lot of people this year did celebrate it differently. They don't feel like America needs to be celebrated right now, and I can't really say I disagree with that. Maybe they got together and, they helped, support a Black Lives Matter movement, a petition or a charity or things like that. Maybe they got together and just mourned with each other over how awful this country is right now and how some of my friends feel endangered. If you don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving the way it's supposed to be, then don't. Figure out your own meaning. Live your best life. That's all I got
Like
to
I
say.
said, holidays are just something to look forward to. They're like a light at the end of the tunnel. They're like, oh yeah, a reward. Let me make it through this month and then I get to celebrate blah blah blah.
But even if you don't celebrate it the same way as everyone else, you still need to be respectful.
Of other people and what they celebrate and their beliefs.
I can't
It's not
believe
hard.
at 23 years old, I have to preach to people, much older than me, that you should be nice. I have to tell people to be nice.
Just be nice.
Just
You're
be
teaching these
fucking
elderly
nice.
people the same thing you're teaching your kids. Like, be nice.
Just be fucking nice.
Just be fucking nice. I don't know, but like, make your own holiday. If you want to have something, just do it. It's fun. Do it. Make your own holiday. Have a reason to come together and celebrate with your friends. Give yourself something to look forward to. Some people make things that already exist, like their own personal holiday. I know that my junior year chemistry teacher, Ronald Humphrey, he takes every single year off. He takes off the first day of duck hunting season, and good for him. Celebrate things in your life that bring you joy, you guys. Just do it.
Exactly. So we're going to wrap up this episode. Like in the first episode, we kind of gave some shout outs to people. One, go check out Chris Moxley, Mox Bands on Instagram. He's supporting a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement. He, sells wristbands and helps support different kinds of charities and things like that. So that's Mox, MOXBANDZ on Instagram, at Instagram. And then go support the Comeback Podcast. So that's at the Comeback Podcast on Instagram. And of course, hopefully we're going to have them on the show soon. But go support Hart Mercantile. They're kind of going through a shitty patch right now. So shop online, buy gift cards. And when they're open, be sure to stop in the store in the Oregon District. He'll be on the show. God, I'm drunk. He'll be on the show soon. Hart Mercantile. Some girls from Hart Mercantile will be on the show soon. So yeah, thanks for coming in, Emily. Make sure you check Emily out on social media at MVPratt, EMVPRATT.
Oh, thank you. Didn't even have to do it myself.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at emorgs09.
Thanks for having me. Always a joy. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the end of this week's episode of the Tipsy Tim podcast. I know we didn't really hit on any of the big issues that are happening in today, but I hope you did enjoy our kind of humorous take on the different holidays. I hope you learned something, and we did get some serious notes in there about just some typical things about history, so hopefully you enjoyed that and understand our point of view on things. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Please make sure to check out our sponsors on Anchor, the friends that we've shouted out, so Mox Bands and Hart Mercantile and the Comeback Podcast. You can find all three of those guys on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Psycho Studios. I'll place the link in the bio for all of the streaming services, and make sure you follow our Instagram account at the Tipsy Tim Podcast. Make sure you share our show. We love the support. We're getting so many awesome comments back on the show, and so it's so exciting. We have a lot of stuff coming up in this season with just different kind of episodes, but we definitely want suggestions on what you guys would like to hear. So go comment on our Instagram post and just if you have things that you would like to hear, if you're interested in being on the show, don't be scared to message us. We love having new people on the show. We love having suggestions, and we love doing what you guys want to hear. So again, thank you so much. I will see you next Thursday. And I've decided I don't like the outro for the other two shows. So I think what I'm now going to say is, I'll see you guys all next Thursday. As always, just be fucking nice. Just be fucking nice. See you guys.
The Tipsy Tim podcast is coming to